You have a complicated relationship with your mother? Did your mother pass away? Are you dealing with grief of any sort? What about deconstruction? Whether that's faith or your belief system or how you grew up, are you deconstructing from any of that? Are you on a personal development journey, or have you ever wanted to be on one and just want to feel like you're not alone? Well, I have the book for you. Not yet. I'm in the middle of writing it actually. But instead of it being a video or maybe even a series where I talk about the process of writing the book and everything that feels more like it's geared towards authors, I want to share this journey as I go through it writing this book because it feels like a mission for me. I want to write a book that helps you by teaching you what I've learned all my years because of and despite my mom. My mom passed away December 2022 after I had been caregiving for her full time for 8 years beforehand. And before that, no, it might have been during that. I just know in 2016, that was the year where I started just taking my life into my own hands because I was surrounded by forms of Christianity that didn't align with me. I realized that what I was seeing were things that wasn't like selling me on Christianity. And I think some of the last straw things for me were going through what felt like depressive episodes. I was never diagnosed back then, but I would like confide in people who were in my life because I was just like, I need help and I feel hopeless and just really down. And the response usually was to either read my Bible, pray is nothing but the devil, you're just spoiled. It was both being told, not diminished, but what's the word? It was just condescending and like you're being looked down on, and then just being told just to read the Bible and pray and you're fine. And I wasn't fine. So that was one turning point, and then just seeing things that made me see that I didn't admire anyone's life that was around me. So I went on my own personal development journey back in 2016, and I truly believe that not only changed my life, it didn't just change my life. I don't think it only changed my life. I think it saved my life. Stepping to what I believed in and deconstructing from the way I grew up and the way I went about things. Before that time, I felt like a victim in my life. I felt trapped. I don't know if you ever heard that story. It's not a real story. It's like a analogy, like a metaphor. I have to look those up to see which one's which. But it's the story about the baby elephant that's tied to a post, and then he grows into a full-grown elephant. And you know how big elephants are. And he's still stuck and tied to that post. And he doesn't try to escape, even though he could just literally boop and be out. But he doesn't, because he spent his whole life being chained to it, and he is mentally caged thinking he can't escape it. And that's what a lot of my life felt like. And when I remember when I first started my personal development journey, I started thinking differently, showing up in my life differently. And it was literally, not literally, it was truly as if I was on the outside looking in at my old self, because everyone else was reflecting the way I was moving through life, and I had changed that. So I was seeing myself in other people who weren't changing. I wasn't telling anyone I was doing like a life altering journey or anything like that, but I could just see the difference. The reason this book is so important for me to get out to you is because toward the end of my mom's life, the last 3 months of her life, it was the most intense and difficult time of both of our lives. And I know in the beginning when she was diagnosed with something else, I was like, okay, we can work through this. Not through it, but just to make it a better outcome than it could be. And I was ready to give her all the tools and stuff that I learned by myself over the years to help her out through this. And a lot of it was like starting with just her mentality around things, because the way you think dictates the way you decide to respond and react to the world, which gives you your outcome. And then you either repeat that pattern and cycle, and it's good or bad, or like your desired outcome or not. And I wanted to start there with the foundations of that, and seeing her suffer and go downhill and ultimately die, wanting to help her, and was unable to in a lot of ways. Like, I got a few things through to her, but it all felt like it was too late. And I've been thinking about that since she passed and before she even passed, when I would see glimpses of a side of her that I'd never seen before. And I'm like, if it didn't take you actively dying, would you have been different? Would everything have been different if you had opened up to more than just prayer in the Bible? I think you can be proactive and supplement prayer in the Bible with some more progressive things. But for me, I'm of course theorizing because I can't talk to her anymore, and I highly doubt she would have an open, truly honest discourse about this. But it felt like I was watching her crash and burn, and she wouldn't take any advice that could have helped her. And it wasn't an acceptance thing either. It wasn't her saying, I know it's coming, I know what's happening, I am fine with it, you guys just have to accept it too. And no, it was not like that at all. This is another story for a different day, but just watching her go downhill and me wanting to help her and me wanting to share all the things I had learned in the past, like 6 years, to help her out, help her navigate things better, help her have better clarity around the choices she was making, help her face difficult situations, rather than just be like, la la la, I don't want to hear it, and then things just get worse because you're not facing what's happening. Yeah, since I can't tell her how she could possibly help herself, I want to be able to spread the message myself through a book of all the ways I've learned to better my life and just show up better for my life. I want to share that in a book. I want to share the ways my mom was and what she could have learned from. I want to share things about my mom because that was another thing. She passed and she didn't leave much behind, that made like a huge impact that will carry on for generations and things like that. She had like a favorite perfume and like a favorite necklace that she just got a few years prior, and aside from that she couldn't really write anymore, so I don't like have letters from her or anything. She didn't really journal. I was with her 24/7. I had never left home before, so it's like, why would she write me a heartfelt personal letter if I'm always around her? So that's unfortunate. That's another story as well. It's just like not being able to leave the nest or anything to develop that different shift in our relationship. But yeah, I want to write this book for you in a way that I couldn't have done for my mom. I want to share things that I wish would have helped her, but I'm hoping can help you. And like I said, I also want to share some things about my mom because it feels like she didn't leave much behind, and I want to share like things she loved and things she enjoyed doing and eating, and little quirks and idiosyncrasies of hers, to be printed in a book that will live forever and people can find forever even if I'm gone. That'll share things about my life and my mom's and will help you in the process. I can't believe I did this in one shot. I was going to see if I need to edit some things or whatever, but I think this is good enough. I have the rest of my off day to get some things done, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But let me know what you want to see video-wise about this book. As a consumer, as an author, as both, what would you want to know or see during this process as I write this book? I'm very determined. I want to write some other books too, but I'm very determined with this one. This one is like my main focus, my main mission in life is to finish this book, and really to do it this year, really get into it, at least get a big dent in it, because the further I get away from the last 3 months with my mom and I, the further more layers of like balm have been put over how like traumatizing and stressful and just intense those last 3 months were when we were in the thick of it. I have journal entries and everything, but even on my Substack, I have a Substack where I wrote about the first year, turning one, I called it, because also if you are a late bloomer, if you were someone who was sheltered, this book can be for you as well, because that's kind of where I started from too. And I learned way more than people realize I learned. I think once my mom passed, they thought I would be just like this vulnerable, naive, just like new to the world type person, but I was like, oh no, I've been doing personal development work for years, and I have been doing other things that have kept me kind of in the loop. Of course, experience trumps all, but I wasn't as naive and vulnerable as I thought I was going to be after my mom died, because I had stepped away from my mom and started doing my own work for myself. So yeah, also if you're a late bloomer or sheltered, or you have been like that and you're moving into your own life and you feel kind of like you're on wobbly legs about it and doubting yourself, and your capabilities, I think this book would be helpful for you as well. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying before I told you another reason that you'd like this book. But yeah, I yapped on long enough. I just want you to tell me what you would want to see as I write out this book. What would you want to know about? What would you want to know more about? What would you want to learn? What would you want to gain from it? And what part resonated with you the most with this book that I'm writing? Like I said, it's my mission, I think, to write this book, because the further I get away from it, that's what I was saying, the less visceral it feels, and the more like balm has gone on the moments and times and stuff I've had with my mom since she passed. And I was just saying that I have a Substack, and it was such an important, passionate filled piece that I wrote about turning one on Substack when I lived my first year without my mom, and being able to come into myself for the first time, doing a lot of firsts, getting my license, September 2023, my driver's license, and now I have a job. It's a food service job, and I have a job now, and just like a lot of firsts happened in 2023, and I wrote about it and on my mom's death day and published it on that day. And I did one this year, or in 2024, for year number 2, and that one felt more detached. I wrote a letter to my mom instead of like the super visceral, passionate piece I had back in 2023, because it was like, for me, it was like the contrast of just last year, mom and I were going to McDonald's to get ice cream cones, and now I'm in Texas visiting family I'd never met before. Just last year, we were on the couch living in the living room because she couldn't get back into bed and she was having like an attack. And now this year, I'm in Georgia for a new family member I never met birthday party. And it was just such a contrast from just a year ago to 2023. And so 2024 didn't feel as visceral. And so I don't want to be too far removed from the life I once had with my mom and the beginnings of living it without her, in order to write the book as passionately and as, I guess, viscerally as I can. I tried working on this book last year, and I got really into writing pieces of it in a draft, and one time I did that and got called into work. I said I could take the shift, and that was my first meltdown. Woo! First grief meltdown at work, so I was like in the back of the store wailing, so that was fun. But it makes me realize when people write memoirs and anything pertaining to like reliving their lives or reliving things that are unpleasant, it can bring up a lot of emotions in you and can be very exhausting. But I think I'm in a place where I'm willing to take that on if that happens again or what have you, because this is important to me. This is important to get this work out. Like I said, I have other book ideas, but this one's a top priority. So yeah, again, tell me what resonates with my book idea. Which type of person are you? Did you lose a parent? Do you have a complicated relationship with your mom, your parents? Yeah, late bloomer, sheltered, deconstructed, want to deconstruct. What? Let me know, and let me know what you want to see when it comes to learning about this book. All right, see you later. I gotta go. Thanks for watching. If you watched all the way through, thanks. Leave a heart in the comments.